Houston.
No, I mean, our little pool here.
No one picked them to win.
Was that there?
Calling this November 4th meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dying here.
Huh?
It's hot here.
Yeah, it is hot. You do that?
No. Never a little, far be it for me to ever make a place warm.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. We are in November already. Don't have much else. Glad to get some rain finally. I think up to about 3 inches of it.
I got another inch over the weekend.
Okay, I didn't check my gauge this morning, so.
So I'm up to 3.5
Okay.
on those last 2 rains.
It sounds like we're gonna pick up another maybe inch between now and tomorrow.
I
So,
take it. My creek still is not
Yeah.
running.
sounds good to me. Okay,
It's all soaking in, not running off.
No.
Mhm.
yeah, guys soaking rain and fall temperatures, so we're good. Football weather.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
It might be football.
You had to bring that up.
I didn't say good football weather. No, I just said football weather.
That game,
That's a
that
whole nother
game
story.
Saturday, that rain was incredible.
Was looking at the radar right before that, because we had an hour-long delay, and I thought they may not get this game in. It kind
Kind of
of,
longer than that delay.
yeah, it was,
No, our players had it longer than 1 hour delay.
yeah. They had a 4-quarter delay.
Show up.
Anyway,
No,
with that in mind, let's move on to some public
Okay.
comment. I heard something better than this.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Gary Olds. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle. As many of you know, oftentimes when I'm up here, nearly 100% of the time, I talk about taxes and funding. And I had an epiphany that maybe you had years ago, but I just had recently. In fact, as I was doing some bookkeeping over the weekend with a new cloud-based accounting software. I didn't realize this, but I pulled out my 2023 tax statement. And this is just an FYI, you know this, but I'll share it with you and the public, is I've always talked about RCPD and the cost, and I understand 20% comes from the county's taxpayers, 80% from the city taxpayers, yada, all that, plus medical expenses, plus capital outlays. I understand all that, hopefully the public does too. But I had an epiphany because one of the times that I was sitting down calculating what's the cost for law enforcement and what should it cost, which I don't know. I don't really know. I just look at what I guess is the numbers, and I take the budget of RCPD and I divide it by the population. Obviously, the population doesn't pay taxes, just that portion that owns property, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it was somewhere between $400 and $500 per person or per capita, roughly. And I thought, is that normal? Well, I did for Junction City in Erie County, and it was like 650 per capita. Big population difference, et cetera, et cetera. But when I was messing with my accounting software, I happened to pull out my 2023 statement and did some quick mathematics on it. And it occurred to me that, and I have about a $250,000 home. I don't exactly know. I don't remember exactly what value is, something like that. And of course, there's a lot of those $250,000 homes around town, in the city and probably out in the county as well, I assume. But I'm doing a quick calculation for me, and my wife to live here in Manhattan, be a part of the Riley County and Manhattan community. For law enforcement, it's $110 a month. That blew me away. $110 a month for law enforcement, which I realized you could probably also do the same thing for fire safety and whatever, ambulance service and stuff like that. But I once again just want to point out to you, you all, as I pointed out last time, the cost of law enforcement is important, but I think it's really needs to get under a microscope and figure out what's going on here, because it's really not sustainable. When you look at the city of Manhattan's budget, and we talk about $38 million in property taxes collected, realize that 80% of that goes to the RCPD. It's pretty significant. RCPD growth over the last 12 years in personnel has been significant, and yet the population has not. So thank you very much. I think you said 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got about 10 seconds.
I thought she said 3 seconds.
No,
Thank you.
Really hoping
Anybody
it
else?
lasts long.
What?
Time.
Timer.
Commissioners, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director. I just wanted to talk very quickly about scheduling department head evaluations. Right now, I had sent you 3 dates and one of our commissioners is not available on the 2nd of December. So I wanted to confirm that Catherine, you would be available on the 21st and 25th. And then John had stated the 21st is, you have a couple other meetings that day. So you have a lunch meeting and then you have a 4 p.m. board, right?
No, county.
County, okay,
City county.
yeah. So are you guys okay with having then 4 20-minute evaluations in the middle, just making it a full day?
Okay, you said the 20,
21st in the afternoon, 1:30 to 3:15. Which is the day that you have several meetings.
Yeah, we got Good Morning Manhattan, regular meeting, county officials. I just mentioned that might be kind of much with the King City County at 4.
would be a lot. Can't we schedule these on another day besides Thursday?
Yes, absolutely. If you can be available, I can be available any other day, like. We can go through non-commission days. John, do you have any that would work?
No,
So that leaves us, if John doesn't have any non-commission days, that leaves us commission days, which Monday, the 25th. I think is fine with 2 of the 3, if it's okay with you, Catherine.
and we have an intergovernmental that day.
You do
At lunch.
at lunch, so I wouldn't have it starting till 1:30. And going clear until 4:15 that day.
Well, yeah, I've got an appointment. I can probably cancel that.
Okay, and then could you all look at December 9th? Now, we do have a county official, so we wouldn't start until 1:30 again.
We're not, Clancy, you had that legislative conference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Penciled in?
On the.
No, it was I believe that's the 12th.
We penciled it in on the 9th. Do I need to
know
erase
that we
that?
actually set a date for that, but we just talked about a couple.
Yeah, you threw some out and I thought you selected one, but I'll be darned if I can remember what it is off the top of my head.
And I
What date did
wouldn't
you
say I
say?
know, but I talked with Cindy this morning, who said it's the 12th. Yes,
She said, month,
the 12th.
well, I'd be willing to bet that's probably.
Okay,
That was my
Well,
thought too.
We count on her better than our memory.
I'm not gonna question her.
yeah.
Yeah, I
If that's
mean,
not the current date, it is now. If that's-
So I need to erase the 9th legislative conference. please,
Yes.
and see.
I don't think that date would work for her.
Okay, that opens up
so
the 9th.
I'm
of
asking
May.
about the 9th. And Rich is gonna just double check the agenda for us, but I'm asking about the 9th based on the legislative being on the 12th.
It is on the 12th on the agenda here,
Okay,
the
so that's
legislative.
Yeah,
confirmed or not?
that sounds right.
It's penciled in here anyway until Clancy tells us it's changed.
I was gonna call Cindy later today. Glad we had this
Okay,
conversation.
so it's gonna be on Monday, the 9th, that would be right after our commission meeting? Is that?
Well, I think you have a county officials lunch.
No, we won't be having that in December.
Okay.
We're doing it this month.
Okay, then yes, then we would be able to start right away after the commission meeting and potentially go until 4:15.
Do a lunch break.
Do a lunch break.
Yeah, I think lunch break.
So start at 1,
Depending on how
then?
long our meeting runs.
So you want to start at 1 or what?
I think
Depends on
that-
what our meeting looks like.
Yeah, why don't we just schedule it with a lunch break after the meeting?
Okay.
Does that sound appropriate?
Which day was that, Elizabeth?
That's the 9th.
Okay, that's what I got.
And if we do a full day, we should be able to do it between Monday, the 25th and Monday, the 9th, going from about 1 o'clock, depending on the meeting, until about 4:15. So does that sound appropriate? We'll do 20 minutes again and go from there.
Okay, so the 25th and the 9th.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, commissioners. I appreciate it.
Next.
Morning, Commissioners. Clancy Holman, Rutherford County Council. I'd like to ask that you add an executive session to the administrative time, please.
Move to add an executive session this, thanks almost time.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to add an executive session to Nancy Holman's administrative work session time. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna close off public comment. We'll move on to commissioner comments then. Commissioner McKinley. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm really
Don't put those
stopped
things
up,
on.
so I'm just gonna have to.
Still getting all this stuff added on my calendar here.
Right, and again, I had nothing to write it down on, so.
Oh, okay.
Can you send an email reminder?
About the dates?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's appropriate, I'll put it on your calendar, but I think.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, a slow weekend after a long day Thursday. But had to miss a lot of the K-State football game for another commitment, but was home time to watch the fourth quarter collapse.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
Ouch.
yeah. And then I know I did have a vigorous phone call from someone chewing on me about our time change for offices, make them half day. Yeah.
I didn't comment.
Hmm?
I haven't had any comment.
I have two. I've had a couple.
Yeah,
Well, where were they when we started?
they've.
That's
let
that'd
me
be kind of
know.
my thought too. I don't know. Change is difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it was, I agree with everything you have to say, actually, but. That's all I got.
Okay, I don't have a lot. It was a long day on Thursday, so, I did catch up on a lot of things. Friday, I met with Barry Wilkinson just briefly. I've been spending a lot of time down at the Democratic headquarters helping them out. Kind of did it for the weekend, you know. That's all I've got.
Okay, well, Friday morning, I met with Dawson Meering, district representative for Congressman Tracy Mann. To discuss the upcoming Economic Development Reauthorization Act, where it stands and how the congressman may feel about that overall. They'll be sending it along to staff to get back with me, but this particular reauthorization is the first one they've done since 2004, and don't really know where it stands. It's in the Senate right now, so nothing will happen until after tomorrow's election, obviously, and they get back to Capitol Hill. So Friday afternoon, joined the established business leaders for their lunch and learn over at Rock and K's during the lunch hour. Jason Smith, President, CEO of the Chamber, presented the new economic growth plan they just had done and answered some questions and went through the plan in depth, including the recommendations that are attached to it. Also on Friday afternoon, I met with Judge Bannister here in the BOCC chambers, discussed the engine defense panel, jury selection, and just overall court and judicial needs as a whole. Had pretty good dialogue and certainly appreciated the time. Did listen to Manhattan High's playoff game. At least something exciting happened in football over the weekend. They blew out Wichita North 59-0, so we get to play Mays next in the next round. But perfect 9-0 still, so keep it going. I'm feeling they're gonna reach that semifinal rounds with Derby, and that's gonna be a fight. So we'll see how it goes. Saturday afternoon, unfortunately, I watched that game. Houston, we have a problem, a big one. I just don't know what to say about that. I guess it's like the sky being blue every year. We just lose a game we're not supposed to lose or shouldn't lose, but we do it anyway. So it is what it is. Sad thing about it is it kind of drops us back in the standings.
Couple.
Yeah, I'm looking at everybody's schedule. I mean, I don't see where we're going to make up the difference on that one. So,
Had a chance with Iowa State losing.
yeah,
It's football, you never know.
Colorado's ahead of us now.
Right.
So anyway, good to see some measurable rain over the weekend. Loving the fall like temperatures. It's finally feeling normal for this time of the year.
This week will be a little muggy today.
Yeah, that last night. I didn't know if anybody caught what happened down in Oklahoma yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, had a series of
Tornado.
3 real big, powerful
Oh,
tornadoes.
really?
Yeah,
Where at?
in the Oklahoma City area, in the metro. Did quite a bit of damage, injured a lot of people too. It happened early in the morning. So, not good. So anyway, with that, that's all I've got.
Ready for business, commissioners? First item I have, need a motion to approve the Operation Green Light for Veterans Proclamation.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the supporting Operation Green Light for Veterans Proclamation.
I'll second.
Yeah, here we go. Been moved and seconded to approve the supporting Operation Green Lights for Veterans Proclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
All three sign, please.
That's gonna be fine.
I think I'm congested today.
Thank you. Next, Commissioner, Riley County Employee Action Form for Lexi Zio, EMT, MS Department, Separation of Service. All three, please sign.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.
You. Commissioners, any changes to the minutes?
Nope.
Yeah, I move to approve minutes of the October 31st meeting as presented.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written from the October 31st meeting of the Riley County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Tentative agendas, look, Commissioners.
Good.
Any items for next week's press conference?
Nope. Well, we won't have next week's press conference. We'll be here Monday.
Wasn't even on my radar.
We'll have a big press conference, but it'll be out there.
Bigger things on my radar.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Sounds good, Commissioners. 9 o'clock, get Mr. Holman with an executive session. We're gonna take the whole time, Clancy.
Yes.
So what kind of, are you gonna report on how many votes we have?
11,655 as of the end of Saturday. I walked in and the line was down the stairs this morning. For
Ah,
this voting.
So. we're
Oh,
gonna
we still
get
have
over
to Saturdays last week.
Noon,
Noon
Monday
today.
by state
Oh.
law.
Somebody. Where was? Said their daughter had gone down
Yeah,
Saturday. That was get done early.
Busy, busy.
Get-
I did.
And there was already a mile.
Oh, it was horrible. It was zigzagged upstairs, down the stairs, all
I
the
know
way
some people
down
don't
to
do
this
beans,
back
but
entrance,
I
all the
love
way
beans and
down the
chili,
lobby
so,
again.
Yeah, I just put beans and.
Yeah.
And 570 some Saturday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was that just till noon?
I'm a big-
Yeah, that was just a half a day.
Mhm.
put all in the crock pot.
And the
like
next,
this thing.
the next thing we'll get chewed out about is we'll have people that come afternoon today and tomorrow to our office and swear up and down they've always voted here on that time or day. And say, all I can say, well, the last 28 years you haven't.
You say, well, the time you did that, it didn't count.
Because I have witnessed those last 28 years.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, that's amazing. I've never seen that. It's all over the country. though.
Yeah,
Voting early.
I think they said something to the tune of 31 million.
Something like
I
that.
think that's what I saw this morning.
Whoever wants the motion for executive session.
Oh, that's always so fun.
Oh, I know. Well, I didn't write this one. so-
Because you always, we keep them so
Oh,
short.
it's
Make it easy
science,
to
of
eat.
course. How many more months do you have to go?
That's good.
Yeah,
How many days? You're surely counting them.
No, I really don't.
Oh, really?
No. I was for a while. Not this close.
Clancy's been such a fixture in county councilor world that it's gonna be weird
Yeah.
to not have him around. I mean, I'll be personally sad, but
It'll
Me
be a
too.
relief.
For you.
yeah, for you.
No, everybody involved.
First. I don't know. Can't really afford it to.
The mission's definitely been well represented. You wouldn't mind letting me know how the Sight and Sound Theater goes, because Austin, yeah, Austin and I were looking at it last night, trying to figure out what we were gonna do in Branson in a couple of weeks,
Oh,
so,
we went, we went together once,
yeah.
crucifixion, and she'd gone one other time with one of the friends.
Yeah. I think the only disappointing thing that I've in Branson so far. And it's just because I'm not really into the Titanic, because I went to the Titanic Museum and it was okay.
Oh.
Like, it was fine, but I kind of got worn out on the Titanic because I did a musical in college. And I was like an extra, so I died 3 times. Once as a 3rd class passenger, once as a 2nd class passenger, and then I got a line. And then I passed away as a 1st class.
Oh, gosh.
But I got a line.
Women are playing tomorrow at 11?
Today.
Today at 11.
It's 11.
Girls team?
Here.
I know.
Well, I think it's some special on ESPN where they've got, that's why they run those
got
games where they run games for all day.
Yeah.
to it?
Huh?
You going to
I
it?
can't, we're leaving here, from here,
Where you going?
Branson,
Oh, really? Short little trip?
Oh, that's good.
That's cool.
Enjoy.
with my brothers. We're all meeting down there.
You said, how many brothers do you have? 2.
Sure.
Who has the toughest job? Who's the oldest?
Yeah.
Speaking as an oldest brother.
And they always,
I'm one
they're always
too.
the smartest and best looking.
Yeah. Be all the above. Yeah.
Except the one closest to me looks almost like a twin sometimes.
Really?
When we had the same hair. Now we've got changed. For a while, we both had hair buzzed off and he had this. And some of the grandkids had trouble. But one was which.
My brothers and I get the same thing. Both of them.
The other brother doesn't look like us as much.
Boy, our sister talks to us.
She feels sorry for you.
Well, there is that. I would think she'd be bitter.
Yeah. Could be a little bit of that too, I suppose.
I'm just glad we all get along. Sounds like you guys do too.
Yeah.
Not always the case.
You know, like I say, my family was all brothers, it was all sisters, 4 sisters.
Hmm.
And we had family we were friends with that they had 4 boys. And I think our moms got together and cried together.
Might have been one to do it. Nice to have a little mixture.
It's a good thing I got all the acreage out there, because I'll have it filled up with grandkids running around
Oh,
from
yeah.
one end to the other.
They're not done yet.
At least they'll be able to run
Just
from
kids.
our house to Blake's house, because we got a path already, so.
Make it a one-way road though, right?
I enjoy it. I enjoy it, you know, I got, I telling my wife this morning, you know, I didn't hold the little one just because of the illnesses at our house. I'm not feeling ill, but I didn't hold the little one at all. And I told my wife, I said, I don't like holding little tiny ones. They just seem breakable, you know?
Yeah.
I want them when they're starting to walk, and then they can stay with me all the time. You know, people always cringe at the walk, and I say, they learn no, that's when I want them, and it'll be a blast. I'll have a blast then. Whole little
Unless they have
me.
exactly your personality, that might be a little tough.
No, that's perfect. They'll get along even better.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I kind of would have kids.
Yeah, I like love them when they're little sponges and just
My
learning.
dad was that way when, and went, well, as he was older was some of my grandkids, we handed to him. He was afraid to breathe.
I'm
He had to
I'm
want
okay with
babies.
not holding the little ones. They're just too tiny.
That's good. That's before they can start talking. That's.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's why Carson's starting to be fun. She's a year, you know.
Oh,
And she knows I'm the grandpa that'll take her outside. So no matter where we're at, we go to her house or they come to our house. First thing she sees me, she holds her arms up because she knows I'll take her out back and walk and show her the chickens and the guineas. And
Mhm.
I'm the grandpa that always takes her outside. Even this weekend over her house, she's wanting me to pick her up so she know I'd take her on a tour.
two of them here in town. There's one.
All 3 in town.
All 3 in town?
Yep.
But one of them was.
Michaela, she's the only one that has not had a child, grandchild, but she's the one in
Which is
Texas.
son.
Yeah, she was in
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yep, Oklahoma, and then they're
Send it back over.
Texas
sign it
Cisco
over,
at junior
then-
college is where he's coaching.
Yeah.
She's a physical therapist in Abilene, Texas.
Mm.
That's the biggest city they're close to in Texas is Abilene.
I'll do it when I'm done there.
Oh.
I know you need it.
I'm gonna need it. Do it afterwards. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, you're gonna have to behave now. Kindergarten teacher in the building.
If she came in, we were just gonna leave from here.
Mm.
Good for you guys. Enjoy. Drive safe in the rain. If you run into it, you might skirt around it if you get out fast
It's
enough.
predicted for rain all day down there too.
Is it?
So,
It's already down there, I think. Looking at the radar this morning. It's
That-
kind of creeping. its
Nothing
way
worse than
back up.
driving in rain for a long time. It's just annoying.
Yeah, and that last night, man, that big flash of lightning and then that big
Thunder.
rumble of thunder right behind it. I was like, okay.
About 6:30.
Yeah, I was like, all right. Yeah.
I move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on potential litigation. Clancy Holman, County Counselor, Brian Parkman, and Jacob Hanson, Deputy County Counselors, attorneys for the commission, which we deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chambers at 9:20.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the commission goes into executive session with attorney-client privilege including Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recessed into executive session on potential litigation with Clancy Holman County Counselor, Brian Parker, and Jacob Hansen, Deputy County Counselors, with 2 commas after it. Okay, 2 commas. Good,
One for
good
each
going.
of them.
Yeah, one for each deputy counselor there, yeah. Attorneys for the commission, which should be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship and exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, with the open meeting to resume in the chamber at 9:20 a.m. Comma. I said that. Oh,
All those in favor?
aye. All those in favor.
Thanks, Rita.
Aye.
Well, if not, he's the one that gets to hear
Yeah.
about it for 5 hours.
The meeting is live.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
We moved to second, the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Right.
Move the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded, the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioners, time for Brian.
Shall I go to the podium?
Yes.
Mike Parker, Deputy County Counselor. Thank you, Commissioners. Before you, at this point in the agenda is a resolution recognizing the Riley County Mental Health Task Force as the community's voice, or in fact, I want to get the exact wording, as the professional community organization serving and supporting Riley County mental health organizations and providers. This request, I think it was first voiced to Commissioner Ford, who sits on the Mental Health Task Force Committee. And from the perspective of MHTF and several of the partners, including Pawnee, it's a good idea to have as much recognition as possible, because this MHTF task force is amongst other activities, not just coordinating the work that goes on with the various mental health providers throughout Riley County. It's also seeking grants on behalf of those. It's important that with this resolution today, while we would be recognizing as a county that they're the professional voice of the community, we're not in any way making them a part of the county.
Yeah.
This resolution is very clear that they're a distinct organization, and it's not a promise that we'll fund them. And that's important to state, because we want to make it abundantly clear that they wouldn't now be open to public meetings or act or anything like that, because that would not that they're not absolutely, clear and open to the public, they are, but that would have certain record keeping things with it as well. So with that, I stand for any questions.
How does the grant situation work? Do they apply for grants instead of other organizations?
Support.
Just support?
It'd be
for-
support, be like a letter of support, but to have some backing behind it, that makes it a little bit more credible when they do it.
So it's just them doing the support, or are we gonna be asked to do that too?
You may be from one of the mental health providers for that particular grant, which happens quite a bit, but they're working independently, separate than we would be.
Yeah, that was my only thing. Need to clear that we're not saying you're part of us, we're gonna fund you.
Right.
Yeah,
They're not gonna be, they're coming in the appropriations list.
Yeah, that's
here.
what I was
Yeah.
concerned about.
No, there's
More-
nothing
more.
with this group. I mean, we're trying to really just kind of get everything kind of focused in the center, but
They don't really have an obligation.
there's no really operation or admin to this. I mean, they're just basically there to support the other organizations, and it is gonna probably be a little bit more regional. Yeah, at some point in time, but just trying to get,
Is it a board, organized board?
It's a
or what?
committee.
Just a committee?
It's a committee, and we're still trying to spend most of the year trying to kind of, I guess, refocus or reshift what all that is. It was started a long time ago when Commissioner McCullough was here at the county putting that together. But it's never been an actual county related function or under our umbrella.
How's that, because I'm on the substance abuse task force, how does it affect that in any way?
If there's something mental health related that both could collaborate on, both would collaborate, but it just gives this group a little bit more kind of teeth as being just the mental health side of it. I mean, there's different parts to that
Yeah.
are segregate, but yeah. I believe, they're gonna do the same with the city at some point in time and ask for and it just kind of makes that the go-to group.
There's just so many groups going on.
Yeah.
It just
And
seems
that's part of the
crazy
reason why we're doing
that-
this is that you have at least one that is the go-to. And this is kind of what's allowing us to be able to do that.
I would point out that to address the specific concerns of making abundantly clear that they are not going to be financially supported by Riley County, that's actually in section 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it says, MHTF remains independent from the direction of the Board of County Commissioners because MHTF is financially supported solely by the efforts and funding of various public, non-profit, and private organizations and individuals throughout Riley County and the greater Flint Hills region, and not by the Board of Riley County Commissioners. So they want to go make applications to folks, they can do that, but we're not saying to support them financially. Do you guys have any other questions before I sat down?
No.
I move the board approve the resolution as presented.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board approve the resolution as presented this morning. All in favor? Aye.
3, please sign.
Thanks for putting all that together.
Next commissioner press conference 9:30.
Yeah. You don't go for good. This is another thing that they proved it up, I'm sure. Yep.
I have not found the invitation for Veterans Day yet. For all my email.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Reasons.
Here.
I don't know if I have to RSVP.
Yeah.
No, I got
There was one
places
sent
on
out.
the hand for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I just looked through
No.
all the way back to the 1st of October.
Got something on it. I should think Chris should send it.
I'm gonna see. It's probably the first of December.
Greg, how you doing?
Much better.
Good.
Your rain dances are working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Change it up a bit.
Can we see the new one?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
You always showed us. Yeah.
Yeah, you,
It'll come out there, folks, if you're building.
There's a special tune we have to play or?
No, I'll look for it here in a second. Okay. Okay, so gonna start press conference off this morning with a proclamation for Operation Green Light. Excited once again for here. So, I'm a little congested, so you'll have to forgive me this morning here. So, yes, so we'll start off with this proclamation. Whereas the residents of Riley County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community and in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifice of those who've served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Riley County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign affairs, religious groups, civil service, and functioning as county veterans service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access to more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future, and whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life, and whereas active military service members transitioning from military services are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military services. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans, and whereas Riley County appreciates the sacrifices the United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Therefore, it be resolved with designation as green light for veteran counties, Riley County hereby declares November 4th through Veterans Day, November 11th, 2024, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Therefore, it be further resolved that the acceptance of the Operation Greenlight, Riley County encourages its citizens in a patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in a window of their place of business or residence from November 4th through November 11th, 2024. In witness whereof, we have to set our hands and cause the seal of Riley County to be affixed this 4th of November, 2024. Okay. I'm not sure you got a few words to say too. Yeah.
Just wanted to thank the commissioners again for honoring Operation Greenlight. Operation Greenlight is a powerful reminder of our community's deep respect and gratitude for the sacrifices made by our veterans. Here in Manhattan, we are especially proud of the veterans and retirees who choose to make our city their home after their time in service. Their presence enriches our neighborhoods, strengthens our workforce, and brings invaluable leadership and resilience to our community. As we light up in green streets 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street employees, their service and reaffirm our commitment to supporting them as they transition into their new roles and opportunities right here. So thank you guys again for honoring Operation Greenlight.
Okay, and 1, 2, 3. Couple more. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Over there today.
Yes. Okay, next up, got an update from somebody from RCPD. Is that you, Captain?
Yep.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'll be very brief. One from the operations side, North County Sergeant Pat T was promoted
Yeah.
to the rank of lieutenant. And PD will make the replacement for North County Sergeant announcement hopefully by the end of the week. So we're trying to move things along, but there's a lot of different promotions happening, the changes in the department. So, but if anybody asks, that news will be forthcoming quickly. The other thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, is the jail. We had 136 inmates at one point over the weekend in our jail. And just to put that in perspective, in the month of November, in 2018, our ADP, or average daily population, was 78. This month, we're at 132. Now, granted, that's only for 4 days. But that gives you an idea of, I'm not saying the sky is falling or anything, but I am saying that you could have anticipated an increase in inmate care this quickly. I sure didn't. And I don't have answers. Mr. Vargo and I have talked a couple times, and I've worked with Clancy. We have increased, thank you very much, the nursing. The reintegration coordinator will be hired the first week of December. So that position will start. The part-time nurse, we hope to have on by about the same time. That's an additional 16 hours of coverage, which will allow 7 days a week to have a nurse on site. And then we've got some yearly projects that are with the county being discussed. I'm only submitting what I consider critical. We have some camera issues that need to be resolved pretty quickly. And other than that, I think that's about it. We're doing, winding down our budget year, so we're looking at, what we'll have. But I can assure you, the cost of caring for 132 inmates is significantly more than caring for 80. We're currently down 6 corrections officers position. One will be hired this month, one will be hired in December. And then we had application process. We got over 64 applicants for the position of CO. 18 of them forwarded on to interview. Excuse me. And then we'll look at I think I forwarded 9 into background. So we'll have those positions filled very quickly. The reason we're as short as we are, 3 of the COs were hired in the last police officer hiring process, so we lost 3 of them. So these kind of problems are good problems for our agency. You hopefully, moving employees in the van, and it shows that we're establishing the goal that we have. So do you have any questions?
What year did you say that was 70 or 78? Like
2018, we had 78.3. Then 19 and 20, really COVID years, so they're very difficult. Staying at 72 and 69. And then in 2021, we were at 96, 2022, 106, and whatever reason, did not put last year's on there, so I couldn't tell you what we were last year, but I know it wasn't 132. So.
Female side.
25. We have rehoused the bulk of them back into our facility. We're not gonna have a meeting to ask some information passed on to you on how we're doing that, and what problems we're seeing long term.
Okay.
So, right now we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Next up is Mr. Eystone. You can start or end with the rain dance, so it's gotta be one or the other.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We are at the point here where we're thinking about next year, gardening season, I hope. And so we can make some improvements to make hopefully next year a little bit easier on our gardening plants. And that means soil improvement. We will have a program coming up on Saturday, November 16th, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Blueville Nursery. We're going to learn about soil testing, organic materials that we can add to our soils, and selecting the necessary fertilizers so that next gardening season will come along and things will be going well. This is obviously the time when we have a lot of organic matter available, tree leaves coming down, any other type of spent plants that we can actually incorporate into our soils and improve those. We do about 87, this last year we did 87 soil tests processed through our office. Soil Lab at K-State does the actual testing. It is common that our soils are pretty good. We don't have to add a lot of nutrients, and so it's good to know what we need to add, so we're just adding what is necessary. Big thing is sulfur. Typically, our pH is high, which means some of the nutrients are tied up. Plants can't take them. So we incorporate some sulfur into our soil, so that makes the nutrients available for our plants. And that's not a quick fix, so the sooner you do that, the sooner that process takes place. Mostly temperature related, so we put it on now. Nothing's really going to happen over the winter time, but come springtime, we're starting to get some improvements. So that's typically what's needed, and just to know how much to add, that's done through our soil testing process. Thank you to the Riley County Conservation Service. They help offset some of the costs for that soil test for Riley County residents. So $4.50 is the routine soil test, what it be out of pocket for people of Riley County. So again, if you want to learn more about it, Saturday, November 16th, 10 a.m. And the soil or the compost available at the transfer station is a great resource as well. So that's nice. And I believe it's $25 a ton, which is backbreaking work, but it's so the dance, I do it in the shower, so I don't think we really.
No, we're good, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Right, you've never seen his rain dance.
No, I haven't.
You're gonna have fun.
I'm excited about this.
It's not in the shower. kind
That
of
is-
thing.
I didn't want to see it in the shower.
He does a fun thing. You got something to look forward to.
Go ahead, Rich.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Barber, Riley County Clerk, Election Official. Time has gone quick, Commissioners. I can't believe it's here. Advanced voting closes at noon today at both locations. As of the end of Saturday's workday, we have had 11,655 people participate in the election process. Of course, should well exceed 12,000, which is very significant. What we love about that is it takes pressure off the polling places, which is the next opportunity to vote after it closes at noon today. All polling places, 26 locations, will be open tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Encourage those that have not voted yet that want to participate to go out to the Riley County website, look at their sample ballot, look at their polling place location and map to get to their polling place. Anyone has any questions, of course, feel free to call our office. Advance ballots by mail. I would suggest if you have not gotten it to us yet, and you live here in the community, to drive it down to our location, put it in our front drop box in our building, have a drop box in the clerk's office, drop box in the elections office. That will be the quickest way to assure that it gets here, because by state law, it has to be postmarked on election day, although we do have until the end of business on Friday to accept it, but it has to have that postmark and it has to get to us. If it gets to us by Friday and for some reason, whatever, does not have a postmark, we cannot count it. So that's why I encourage people at this point in time to deliver it to us, would be the most efficient process. Any questions, Commissioners?
And just to clarify, if you would receive it, say on a Monday, it's not at the advanced ballot, it wouldn't count. It has to
Anytime
be
after
Friday.
5 p.m. on Friday is
Okay,
no good, even if the postmark is correct.
okay, that's why I
5
just
p.m.
wanted to clarify that.
5 p.m. end of business day.
Okay.
Okay.
So there'll be somebody in the elections office on Friday?
Oh, yeah, I think we're gonna have
Are you
some
kidding?
process.
They're working many, many hours.
Any questions, Commissioners? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to present the ARPA obligations. This is a more formal process. We've talked about how much has been allocated to each project multiple times, but as we were going through minutes trying to determine when those had officially been approved, we couldn't really find anything. And in the next few weeks, Jacob will be presenting a resolution that we have to pass to make sure that those are all legally obligated in the way that the feds want it done. So that that's done by December 31st as per requirements. So I have listed out all of the projects. 2 of these projects have already been completed, so North County EMS and Fairmount Heights. Everything else is something that we are currently actively working on, and these are the current project estimates. Of course, Kings, you've only dedicated $800,000, but beyond that is everything else estimated. Any questions on that? So all I would ask is that you make a motion to approve the dedication of ARPA funds to the projects as listed.
What's the interest today?
Oh, great question. Actually pulled everything up because I knew they were gonna be working. It's over $1 million.
I knew it was.
Yeah, so we have earned $1,485,940 to date.
Thought it was close, get close to one, yes.
Yeah. And I am including this now in my cash flows, so when I come back next week for my cash flows, all of our ARPA funds and stuff will be in that presentation as well.
Oh.
If we have changes in some of those that are coming up, will the federal government approve those kinds of things? or
Yes,
not?
so we're over obligating, so we only received 14 million, I shouldn't say only, we received $14,418,696. And so these projects well exceed that amount, so you can see the total is $16,136,035. And so with our resolution, yes, we're including any extra costs, stuff like that, it's all gonna be obligated in one lump sum.
Okay, so we won't have to submit another thing unless they tell us to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change their minds on
That's
anything.
rules change.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is possible.
Right,
But also by looking at it, with the interest, we're gonna cover all of these.
We should be able to.
correct, and we don't have to obligate the interest, but.
Right, yeah,
we're
that's
doing
our
that.
choice.
Yeah.
There's actually you never know. Right now, the EMS has, well, and both, and the EM both have contingencies in there.
Mhm.
Yes, correct.
If we do, it's gonna be very, very little out of capital, out of CIP.
Yeah, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well,
I've got a bunch of that
Yeah.
EMS unless something.
And you also have, the CARES fund, or funds in CIP that you also
Yeah.
dedicated to
Mhm.
emergency management,
Mhm.
so, and EMS headquarters, so. If it goes over that, we can take it from that reserve as well.
Good deal.
Okay, want me to make,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, well, I would make a motion to approve the dedication of ARPA funds to the projects as listed.
A second.
It's been moved and second to approve the dedication of ARPA funds to the projects as listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
950 commissioners, you have Charlotte Bronson, Riley County Genealogical Society. Charlie, just so you know, they won't start till 9:50.
What's that?
They won't start until 9:50, 2 minutes.
Oh, I have to, okay. Well, that will give me time to give you some handouts.
Sure. He's gonna do the right thing. You changed your mind.
No.
Oh, but it was the.
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead. Yes. I'm Charlotte Browson, Vice President, Riley County Geological Society. And our big project this year has been working with the city to put up markers on the Linden Trail, walking Christian Linden Trail. The pictures that we made for that project, and then we worked with the public library for the bookmark on the project. And it's been very successful. We had our pull-up panels, which was a travel exhibit in different locations around town. We've had it at Discovery Center, Town Center, Public Library, and just took it down from Menlo Hills. So we've had a lot of information out there for folks to tell them about the project. The city's got 2 markers up so far. 3 of the markers they were given to put up that they're waiting on the levy work to complete, and then we put in the next 5 markers next year. So it's been a big project. Today I gave you this because we would like to put a similar marker at the genealogy library about Platt House and Jeremiah Platt. And I pulled some information that we're working on to put on the insert for the marker that'd be outside. We're doing this because Barry Mitchie recently passed, and the information is from one of the articles in Kansas King that he wrote about the Platt House, and we thought it'd be really cool to have a historical marker at the house. So I just came today to ask permission to proceed on that. We would raise all funds for the marker. In our projects.
That sounds good.
I need to approve the historical marker at the genealogical library.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the historical marker at the genealogical library. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Commissioner Russell Stuckey, 10 o'clock.
I tell you that river is way,
Oh, yeah,
isn't that amazing how much difference there is?
it is amazing.
Didn't really fit anything.
I like a
there.
lot of those old pictures.
Yeah, I do too.
I like those articles they do in the Reach letter. Those are always educational. I've always liked those. One of those, as you get older, you wish you'd pay closer to attention to history as you're learning through school, and when you get older.
I love this. History is my favorite subject.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Dave's only been there. Dave's only been there 48 years.
Yeah. Yep.
His dad was, he's right.
Yeah. So yeah, Doug's dad, Doug's grandpa's age dad was, I think, a deputy chief.
Oh.
You want to look at his name?
Mm,
Mr. Russell. Pete Russell.
Oh, which one of these is Pallistra and which one's Canton? One of them's supposed to be purple and one's blue.
What is it?
These two, the Pallistra and the Canton, I can't tell which one of these it is. But one's supposed to be purple.
This one's the blue one, this one's the purple.
Is
It is
it?
hard to distinguish though.
Ah, yeah, that,
You gotta have it just right to notice that subtle difference.
yeah, now in the light, more in this light I can see. All right,
Depends on the glare from the light.
yes. Pallistra, I didn't even realize that was a town. It's interesting, see the street sign.
Any interest in having Russell go ahead, John?
Yeah, I was gonna mention, you might wanna change your update months on there from March to
Oh.
November. If you want to talk about March, that's fine, but I think that was pretty busy and active on wildfires. You might not want to revisit that.
On the,
It's down in the subject line there.
Anyway, if you want to go ahead and start a little early, I won't complain.
okay,
Okay.
Board of Commissioners, Russell Stuckey, Emergency Management Director and County Fire Chief. So, first of all, thank goodness for all the rain.
Yes.
One thing I can feel pretty safe saying today was we won't have a grass fire.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking good there for a long time. It could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
All those fields.
Things,
There
the
were,
dust on my road, I've never seen it like that. It's been dry for so long.
there were, other counties had things, they had the planes flying and there were days it was too windy for the planes to fly. I-70 was closed because of smoke right by my father-in-law's house out in Wilson. So yeah, we were.
Dodged a bullet there. Sure.
And there's a lot of fuel out there. There was a lot of grass grew this summer.
Yeah.
So
And
not
dried up.
only was it bone dry, there was a lot of.
And the thing,
potential.
just before this, you were having a lot of leaves added to it, just before this rain got here.
Right. Absolutely. So, on the 911 side, fairly normal stuff. We're, still working with, KCOM and L3 Harris and IT to get the final, upgrades done to the radio system to get us back to full operational status. And we're in the home stretch of that. I think the equipment is getting programmed and headed our way. So hopefully when I come back to you next month, we can say that is done. And then we're back to normal status. So another thing on mostly 911 related, and if the commission's agreeable with it, I'll come back at a later date for a travel request. But FEMA has asked if I would set on a question and answer panel for the IWCE conference or expo. It's the International Wireless. I can't remember what IWC is. It's our International Wireless Communications Expo. That's what it is. And that would be on a question and answer panel. I would be representing local jurisdictions that had a cybersecurity event, but there'll be other people representing different levels, like the state and FEMA representing the different levels that deal with it. So the FEMA would pay all the expenses. The only thing that would be of any fiscal impact to the county would be just my normal wages that I would earn normally. So if the commission in general was agreeable with that, I would come back at a later date with the travel requests.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Also been working with IT and KCOM and different agencies that work with mobile command posts to continue that upgrade project along, getting it more modernized. And we got some of the things accomplished, mostly IT work that we've done in-house with IT. And they've been very helpful, continuing to work with IT and KCOM on the radio side and some more technology, cameras and such in the mobile command posts. So continuing on that. Spent a little bit of time on the employee day committee and getting employee day completed. I think it went well and we got some pretty good feedback, so glad to be part of that. Lori, as usual, has worked on the Everbridge system and representing us through different committees and serving as the treasurer. She's also been helping out with MRC through the health department and attending some meetings through there. Working on another fairly routine, normal monthly stuff. I was gonna, get to testify in a case with Barry on an illegal burn and spend some time researching and reviewing those reports but it either got continued or resolved out of the report, because we got the notice, he don't show up, so. But, and the other thing I've been working on with staff, and Michelle's been doing a lot of the work on that. As you recall, you approved the CWPP, plan, the, wildfire protection plan. And so now we're working on the CWPG, Community Wildfire Grant. Stands for. Anyway, working on getting that grant application in place, and it'll be somewhat generic as far as it'll talk about all the different projects mentioned in the plan. And then if we get approved for money, then we can pick and choose from the projects already described in the plan to see which ones we want to try and tackle as far as fire breaks, community, general education, and things like that, whether it's working with Public Works, and I've talked to John Ellerman some, and whether it's about getting a contractor in to help them go along county right of ways and trim trees and brush back away from the road to make it less likely for a fire to be able to jump the road, and also less likely for trees and stuff to fall on the road if or when they burn them. And then the extra advantage to that is, during windstorms and stuff, if those trees aren't there to blow onto the road, that's an extra advantage too. And so it'd be, if we were successful in getting funding, it could go towards a contractor. So it would be a little bit of management work on Public Works behalf, but it wouldn't be, the cost of us to rent machinery or additional manpower to achieve some of those projects. We're in the process of working through our new fire reporting software. As I've mentioned before, our fire reporting software won't be supported sometime next year, and so we're forced to go to something different. Working with IT and the attorney's office to look at the one that we've evaluated as what it seems to be the most appropriate one. Luckily, we got it negotiated down from some of the original pricing that I told you, $20,000 plus to, it looks like around $7,000 for an annual cost, which will only be a couple of $1,000 more than what we're paying now, because now we pay for two different systems, and those combined cost us around $5,000. It depends on what system it's per number. So it depends on how many volunteers we have, how much it costs per year. But so we should be able to eliminate two different systems with this new software system and keep the cost increase down to pretty minimal. We're just working through the contract provisions now. So you can see the number of firefighters then that we have on that chart, and applications and probationary, etc. Doug has met with the dirt work contractor and getting the dirt work started up or close to started up at University Park. So progressing there. We had provided some fire prevention materials to the schools for fire prevention month, and then also did a couple of events where they could touch a truck, etc. We've met, Jake met, and I think Doug too met with the Army Corps of Engineers and their contractors that are still working up on doing mitigation work up on the Corps of Engineers ground to reduce brush and establish some fire breaks up there. They've had some struggles up there getting done what was on their task list, and they're pretty good guys and trying to do the right thing, but it's a big job. So, and the pack rats haven't helped them out at all on their equipment. So yeah, we put out one bulldozer early so far. So
that was on fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
So, and there's been a couple of other somewhat suspicious things up there too.
That's too bad.
So we've had people on the lookout a little bit, but haven't had any success in catching what we think maybe is going on. So,
Game cameras.
I think there's somehow. Then the other thing, I passed out the extinguisher for you, and then I think in the packet are the run numbers. See some of the different runs we've been on, fairly normal for this time of year. And then the last thing, we found a truck that we think would work good for us. It's actually just over in Wamego at Reading Company. I passed around these pictures to you earlier. So the red truck is obviously the one we're looking at. And then that next picture was a bed that we have in inventory that we've measured up and will fit on it, so we don't have to buy a bed and tank for it. We'll just need to add a pump and lights and, you know, those type of things. But the major component as far as the bed and tank we have. So if the commission's agreeable, I'll come back next meeting with a purchase authorization request. If the commission is acceptable with that. Okay. And I think that is all I really have, unless you have some questions for me.
No, thank you.
Right, I will just put that on there.
Since we're on the subject of fire, great, I had just a couple of things that.
Sure.
So first of all, we're on that. I know you're coordinating with HR on the fire reporting stuff, because like legally, we're good to go. The second thing that I wanted to talk briefly about with the commissioners was a subject that you and I have talked about tower leasing. We have what, 6 towers?
The five
towers.
lease space.
We have, currently we have, and I just, I reviewed and approved an amendment to Evergy's our only tenant right now on one of the towers. Great, I believe Chief Stuckey has in the past approached some of the other to try to increase the rural service of like for telecommunications providers, right? It's been a hot minute since I've worked with that industry, but I would be happy if the commission, I mean, there's pros and there's cons with having people on your towers, right? But we can address a lot of it. We can address a lot of it with our lease language. So if the commission would like me to, and we don't need a formal vote, if it's something that folks would like me to try to pursue and work with Chief Russell to see if we can garner any interest on, I'm happy to do that. I just wanted to bring it up before the commission to make sure that it was something that we would even be interested in looking at, because there is a lot of coordination that goes into it. And I've seen both the good and the bad parts of it. And we want to make sure up front we made sure that we got the good parts, not the bad parts. You know what I mean? So if that's something that the commission has any interest in, I'm happy to work with you and take another look to see if we can garner some interest out of Verizon or T-Mobile or whoever might have that. But
Well, how would that, you've got to coordinate with people doing fiber too, because that's happening out in a lot of rural areas. So I know Twin Tower or Twin Valley, and I know WTC had some things going on. So I don't know how that coordinates. with
That's
those
for
guys.
broadband. This would probably be more for cell.
yeah,
It's more for sale.
honestly, that's a little beyond my technical expertise.
Well, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it may be more for, it seems like
Cell
I
phones.
think it may be more for cell coverage. I know we have some dead spots in the county.
do.
Yeah, definitely.
And so and since our radio towers have pretty good height, right, that's kind of what I think and there is a revenue component too,
Yeah.
as well. We wouldn't quite make as much money off of it as ManCam does, with their, they almost have a monopoly on being a cell antenna provider location throughout the city with all of their water towers, but it might be something worth exploring, and I'm happy to spend a little time trying to dig into it.
And it's my understanding from my predecessor, the towers were designed
Yeah.
to accept.
We had talked about that
additional antennas
originally.
So that,
They were built to
So that-
whole other
Right.
equipment on it.
That's what I was gonna ask, is that something you support doing, Russell? Because you're exactly right. That was part of Pat Collins' presentation to the boards when we were doing this would be a way to recoup some revenue. And so I had just never heard if Russell was in favor of that, but Pat adamantly was and presented
Oh, yeah.
the entire project.
and then, providing we get some space leased, then the commission could decide currently that what little revenue that comes in off the tower, off that one lease goes to CIP, which is fine, but like I've said, eventually, unless the state adds more money to 911, we're gonna have to start levying money to support 911 fund. And so that could be a revenue stream that might make sense to help save us from having to levy taxes to support 911.
Kind of what I was thinking as well, Russell, as we're talking through this, and we could set that up, commission, if you like, as a CIP reserve for when we are short revenues eventually at some point in time.
Well, I appreciate the direction. I wasn't trying to derail us or to elongate the meeting, but there's certain people you contact, and then, so I can put out some feelers for us. Thank you, Commissioner.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, well, that's kind of a short meeting this morning, for a couple of long ones, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else this morning. You can tell I'm not feeling really well, so.
I move to adjourn the November 4th meeting of the county commission.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the November 4th meeting of the Riley County Commission. All in favor?